You're listening to A Midlife Less Ordinary, the weekly podcast giving you the lowdown on becoming a cool older dude. The good times are not a faded memory. It's time to start living them again. And here are your hosts, Wayne and Trev.
Hello and welcome to this edition of A Midlife Less Ordinary. My name's Wayne and this episode is the big AMLO conspiracy theory debate. And I have my little Mel Gibson, I don't know, the Mel Gibson from The Bounty, I think, coming in to say hello. Trev, how you doing?
Hello, good evening and welcome.
Thank you, David
Frost. I was David Frost in it there.
You were, yeah. Hello,
I thought we
good
evening and welcome. And I thought as we're doing conspiracy theories, I'll take it a little bit more serious.
Yeah, exactly. I've got a conspiracy about that. But yeah.
Have you really?
Yeah. I've got conspiracy. I bet there's lots of conspiracies about you being in Glasgow last week, to be fair.
I bet there was. There was.
We'll let them have them.
Had a good time. Let them have them. Let them make up their own mind.
Exactly. You're not, from what my understanding, Trev, you're not much of a conspiracy theorist, are you?
Not at all. I think all of it is absolute slobblocks, to be honest. Okay. I don't see any real connection between stuff at all. Because you've got like the flat earthers, haven't you?
Oh, don't give them away yet. We're going to go through them later.
Oh, sorry, man.
There's lots and lots. We're not going to necessarily go with the ones everyone would expect us to do.
Good.
We're going to basically run through some of the more interesting ones and we'll comment on them, Trev. So, yeah, flat earthers is obviously hollow earth as well, isn't there? But
I'm not aware of that, but it sounds like rubbish, to be honest.
Yeah, the earth ones. I don't want to do a kind of Brian Cox, not Brian Cox, the actor, Brian Cox, the other Brian Cox.
I know the other Brian Cox.
The one who talks like about stars and things. I don't want to do a show like that's really serious about about the middle of the earth. But let's explain a conspiracy theory. This is the defining explanation. An attempt to explain harmful or tragic events as the result of the actions of a small, powerful group. Such explanations reject the accepted narrative surrounding those events. Indeed, the official version may be seen as further proof of the conspiracy. So, conspiracy
sounds
theories.
Deep.
It is very deep, Trev. But I'm actually going to test you a little bit. I found a very scientific test. I'll tell you where I found it so you can prove that it's very scientific. I found it on the Sun website. So
it must be great then.
It's going to be great.
Must be right.
So I just want to give them credit. So let's see where we are. And I've lost the page. Oh, here we go.
Oh, great. Here we go.
Trev, you've got to answer these questions. Try and think, but we need to answer them quick, obviously, because I don't want to edit out loads of pauses. But so the questions are, would you rather stick your hand in a bowl of cockroaches or stab a photograph of your family 5 times with a sharp knife?
Cockroaches.
You'd rather stick your hand in cockroaches, okay?
Yeah.
Would you rather pick a coin up off the pavement and put it in your mouth or sleep in laundered pajamas once worn by Charles Manson?
Coin.
Okay. Oh, I'm getting a gist here. Would you
Get a vibe.
Would you rather spend the night in a dingy bus station or spend the night in a luxurious house where a family had been murdered?
Bus station.
Okay. Would you rather queue for 3 hours to renew your driving license or grind your heels into an unmarked grave? Imagine you've got a driving license. You'd like to grind your heels. Okay. You could have pretended you had a driving license.
Yeah, I was going to do that.
Are you really going for grinding your heels? Yeah.
No, 3 hours
queue for 3 hours. Okay.
Yeah.
Would you rather ride in a speeding car without a seatbelt or yell out, "I hope I do it. I hope I die tomorrow" 3 times? Ride in a speeding car without a seatbelt or yell out.
No, I'd rather 3 times.
You'd rather yell out, "I hope I die tomorrow" 3 times.
Yeah.
Okay. Right. It turns out that openness to conspiracy theories is highly correlated with relying on intuitions rather than rationality to make decisions.
Makes sense.
Those who want to avoid highly symbolic costs, like stabbing a photo of your family or shouting, "I hope I die tomorrow," over tangible costs are much more likely to believe in conspiracies. So from what I can gather from that, and going through all of them, it's basically the first one was the one on the left. The second one I'll give you was the one on the right. You answered mostly left. So you're not a conspiracy theorist. So that actually proves
I'm not
the
at
point.
all. It does.
You're not. And
so
that's
really,
highly scientific.
It is. so scientific. I didn't understand some of it. But no, I think, to be honest, does it just show, this sounds like really, I don't know, but it just seems if people are gullible.
Yes.
Yeah. That's the thing. I don't really understand it.
People want to believe, basically in parts, that the more knowledge people have about a particular subject, the less likely they are to believe the rationality of certain given statements. Sorry, that sounds quite complicated in itself. But
it does.
It's
blew my mind.
but they're powerful things, and because of social media, and I'm sure you'll agree, Trev, they're more prevalent than ever, aren't they?
Yeah, I think it also, again, it's similar like why people are afraid of the dark, isn't it?
Yes. Because
you don't know what's there, and that's what's scary. Same as like dying, isn't it? Because you don't know what's there. That's the whole belief. If your mind can't comprehend it or can't rationalize it, then there's always going to be something, something that could happen. Yeah. Exactly. That's the thing. I think back in the day when we were younger, people were a little bit more open to, it happens because it happens, rather than looking for reasons.
That's right.
I think things have become so scientific and things are so, because this is going off on a tangent a little bit here, but I like with magicians and stuff and all these hypnotizing guys.
Yes.
I've never been one. I know me and you have been to see Darren Brown, was it?
Yes.
Back in the day, didn't we? We went to see him. But I think a lot of that audience are there to make out how he does the stuff rather than be amazed by it.
I think that's part of the fun of going to them kind of things, isn't it? I mean, he actually says he doesn't use magic or anything. He uses, I know what Darren Brown uses, suggestibility. He basically works on the premise, and I hope I'm not shattering anyone's illusion, and anyone who believes in such things as seances and mediums and things like
mystics.
That. If you believe in that, then, all the power to you. But Darren Brown debunks that by saying you can do that by basically reading people and just taking them along, and you can see how they carry on. You go, in the basics of it. I mean, I'm not clever enough to do it from a cold start, but they stand in front of an audience. They go, "I'm reading somebody called John," and somebody will put their hand. Everyone knows somebody called John somewhere.
It's going to be someone.
It's averages,
exactly.
And they go, he's saying that he died in a very unusual way, and there's bound to be one that's had, and somebody will want to feel that kind of connection and go along with it. And it's the same with hypnosis, like you said, stage hypnosis, same thing.
Same as horoscopes, isn't it, really?
Yeah, you want to believe in it. Yeah.
They make that fit into their life, rather. I think horoscopes are a lot of old bollocks at all, but I'm a Leo, and the traits of a Leo really do sum me up.
Yeah, but that's the same thing. They use some that are basically prevalent for everyone. So that what they do is you find that within it. You're not getting Russell Grant come up and go, "Oh, hello, Trev, you're very into collecting stuff," and whatever else he's doing. But what they do is they find stuff that basically is very generic to everyone. So it basically ticks something in our mind that's comforting. I hope I'm going to come across. I know because a lot of people I know believe in these things, and I don't want to upset anyone. These are my thoughts.
Do you think a lot of that's to do with, especially the kind of mediums and stuff, is people miss their loved ones so much? They're so desperate to talk to them again, or contact them again, that they will believe anything.
Yeah, definitely. People want to feel that connection. I get it. If they get some comfort from it, I'm all for it. As long as they don't get led down. Exactly. As long as it's again not conspiratorial, there's no harm done. It's when people maybe hang on to. The problem is you've got to ask yourself in that situation, and this is not professional medical advice, but have you started to get over the passing of a family member or a friend? Have you managed to get to a point where you can actually look at it objectively and move on and make sure you're putting yourself first rather than living in a kind of moment you haven't moved on from, if that makes sense?
Yeah, it's difficult, isn't it, to be honest?
But it's gone down a tangent I didn't expect, Trev, to be honest. But,
no, exactly, no. But it is all about expansion, isn't it? It's all about expansion, this
elevation,
show. But
expansion.
Yeah, elevation, yeah. No, I wouldn't want to get involved in all that, to be honest. To me, I'll always miss the people that I've lost over the time. But unfortunately, I'm not hard, kind of to it, but once they're gone, aren't they?
Yes, and I think that I think people do generally understand, but I agree with you. I feel there's some kind of comfort in understanding that and realising they're not with you anymore. You've got your memories; they're the things that really matter. The memories. And all the good memories. You don't remember the bad. So the thing, I was always paranoid that you would remember some of the bad things maybe or something like that. But I think if you're balanced about it, you don't. Them things were not the most important thing in your relationship with these people, was it? It's more about the good. You remember the good things. And you could be sitting there, can't you? And you'll be sitting somewhere you won't expect it. And all of a sudden a thought will come in your head, a little smile will come on your face. Just from a little memory. And you can, it doesn't matter if they're a friend or a family member. You can be sure that if they were close enough to you, you carry a part of them around with you always.
Yeah, exactly, man. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, very, very good. Very hard.
Thank you. Especially as I didn't practice that or
didn't
script that. Yeah, there you go. I'm available for all kinds of
motivational speeches.
Motivational speeches. Yeah, I'm up for all of that. Anything that gets me out of the day-to-day rat race.
Exactly. Yeah. No. Yeah. Anyway, getting back to the conspiracy theory.
I thought we'd do the AMLO weekly wipe trip. We'll have a little bit of an interlude,
get that done.
And we'll have some of that.
Yep.
So talking of conspiracies, Trev, this week I thought we'd talk first. Big news this week is that the frontline NHS staff in England will have to be fully vaccinated against COVID to protect patients and the NHS, the Health Secretary has announced. A deadline is expected to be set for the 1st of April next year to give unvaccinated staff time to get both doses. About 103,000 NHS workers in England remain unvaccinated. So what do you think about this, Trev? For making it compulsory, you've got to have the jab.
I get it. I'll admit, I get it. The thing is, if you worked in that industry, surely you can see, for a start, even the more basic people in it, they must have some kind of education into it.
Yes.
And not only that, they must have seen all the heartache and the worry and the suffering that people have had due to COVID. So you'd think they'd think, well, yeah, well, it's got to be done. I don't know. The compulsory thing, I'm not overly keen on anything that's compulsory.
It's a bit Orwellian, isn't it?
It is, yeah. But I don't know. What do you think? I get it.
I don't think they should be making anyone do. There's a lot of conflicting advice about when you have the jab. Does it make you less likely to pass it on to someone else if you've got it or something? And they can't get this kind of equation right. No one seems to know if you're vaccinated. If you're what is it called when you basically can pass it on? But you basically how people get it from you. They don't know that. So what's the point in what's the point in making people have a jab if they're not actually sure themselves if it actually makes any difference to the people they're caring for?
The weird thing is, back in the day, again, I'm going back past and that, but when you and I had our TB jabs and stuff, my parents didn't question it at all. They just went, you have it done. So do you think it's because we've been given... We're given way too much information about this stuff?
I think that's one of the reasons. I mean, we're going back on conspiracy.
That's why people question it. Yeah, that's why people question it. Back in the day, because there wasn't the internet and there wasn't... It was like we were a bit dumbassy to it. So you just took it. So you just kind of
TB. I think the problem is as well is that with the kind of jabs that people get, the ones you have when you're born, the MMR and all these kind of things, and the TB jab, they last forever, don't they? And with this COVID one, it's like a cash cow, isn't it? It's to me like Pfizer and AstraZeneca have gone, okay, we'll release this vaccine, and it's going to be like an ongoing subscription, which everything is these days, isn't it? There's no, you don't purchase software even on your compuper. You don't purchase it anymore. It's a subscription because we've got you forever. And it's a bit like the jabs. It's like we can't. I know that they can't produce jabs that work for coronaviruses. I believe that that's not possible to make one that will last forever. But it does seem a bit of a cash cow. To me, and I think people with funny enough on this topic, conspiracy, too much information, people should be able to choose not to have it, but forcing us, saying basically that people can't go on holiday, they can't work in the NHS. I mean, at the end of the day, we've already got a shortage of people working in the NHS, and now we're going to be potentially another 100,000 short because they're going to basically sack people who won't have the jabs. So let's protect the people that are vulnerable.
But then surely, there'll be people that have had the jabs that could take their places. But then you got qualifications and stuff.
Yeah, but no one wants to work. Say they're short, Trev. I mean, these kind of what used to be desirable jobs in the public sector are not as desirable. This is getting very serious, this episode.
It is, isn't it?
I feel like a politician. It's like I'm on Andrew Marr. Andrew Marr with a beard.
Exactly. When's the laugh? When's the laughter going to happen?
Yeah, exactly.
No, I don't know. Because again, without, you've only got to get a sniffle or a bit of headache, and then I don't do it, I'll admit. But then people are checking on the internet, doing their own kind of
diagnosis.
And then all of a sudden, because you forgot to take a Lemsip one night, you got a brain tumour.
Yeah.
It's like, what's I don't...
If Lemsips could cure brain, they'd be a bit more expensive than £1 in home bargains.
Yeah, exactly. Which one do you always go for?
I have lemon because it gives me that traditional feeling of kind of being fixed.
Currant man.
I mean, I'll eat both of them. I'll drink both of them, not on a weekend out or anything, but let's get my Lemsip because
look at me lashing it up on the beach.
To be honest, that's probably about as hardcore as we get these days, isn't it?
Yeah, you're right, man.
Out on the Lemsips and the Horlicks, as we've mentioned before.
Yeah,
and condensed milk in your case, but it's a difficult one to judge. People are. It's a difficult one. It's the first time we've kind of been forced into doing something, and your job's at stake for it, basically. But one to see how that all pans out. I think before April.
Yeah.
And I thought we'd also talk about Trev is footballer Marcus Rashford. Marcus Mashford. Or Marcus Mashford. That's it. Marcus Mashford. That's it.
Rafus. That's a good first name there. Rafus. Who's Rafus?
It sounds like say out of a Marvel film. But has dedicated his MBE to his mother and vowed to continue his campaigning to help vulnerable children. He's basically been honoured by the Duke of Cambridge at Windsor Castle this week. He's been recognised for his drive to ensure no child in need went hungry during the pandemic. So what do you think about these famous millionaire sports people basically getting honours?
It's a difficult one, isn't it? It is a difficult one. Because if you're doing it for the right reasons, all very good. I was probably actually saying that. I'm talking shit here because if they're doing good, who gives a shit whether it's raising their PR or their, their...
Because that's what they can do, famous people. They can influence, can't they?
Yeah, exactly. So basically, it doesn't really matter, even if you are doing it because you've touched a donkey's dick or something, I don't know, and then you're just trying to make up for it. Good luck to you because it's doing somebody good. Yeah. So who gives a shit? Just let them do it. If you've got that influence, as you say, man, then just go with it.
Yeah, because there's people out there saying, "Oh, it's all right for Marcus Rashford. He's earning like 200 grand a week or whatever. Why don't he buy them?" But it's not all about that. It's changing the habits of government to help children in need, not the BBC thing that Terry Wogan doesn't do anymore.
Pugsy.
Not Pudsey. But he's raising awareness of it. And to be fair, he's given up a lot of his time. And he comes from quite a poor background himself, doesn't he, Marcus?
Exactly, yeah.
So
he doesn't have to do it, does he?
No, exactly. He could be out like clubbing it up, couldn't he? Like a lot of other footballers.
Yeah, exactly. So, and hopefully it is a good influence on other footballers, and they think to themselves, yeah, actually, that's raised his kind of highbrow. I'll have a go at that. I'm all for it, to be honest, mate.
You carry on, Marcus. You're doing a good job, mate.
Exactly.
And I think that'll do for the news this week. I've got no cover. Brian's not been about this week, so we got no sort of info.
No, that's sort of died a death, is it? Is it just not getting any coverage anymore?
I think maybe they're just not giving them the coverage because that's what they want in the first place.
Exactly,
isn't it?
That's the thing. Yeah,
that might be what it is. So there's none of that this week, Trev. So that'll sum up. That's the AMLO weekly wipe. Yeah. And I think what we'll do, Trev, is we'll go straight into the stream of the week, if that's okay with you.
Yeah, that's good.
So, Trev, what's your first recommendation or non-recommendation as we do now?
Well, to be honest, one of them very, very good, one of my favourite films ever, and the other one was very good. I went back to my early 20s, I believe, or mid-20s. Was a massive Kevin Smith fan back in the day.
You were.
I still got a bit of a soft spot for him. And I watched Chasing Amy again. Probably I'd say one of this, like a romantic comedy, this was on Amazon. Probably the best kind of romantic, or mainly, if maybe the only one, based around the comic book scene, independent comic book scene. So I think it's a beautiful film. It's very risky in places. It still holds up now. Ben Affleck's in it, who for some reason a lot of people dislike. Don't really get it, to be honest, but there you go. Jason Lee's in it again. Who was
the footballer who played for Southend and Nottingham Forest?
No, not Pineapple.
Pineapple.
No, not that Jason Lee. The ex-professional skateboarder.
Yes, I know.
Who at one point was in everything, and now just fallen off the planet. Him and the Alvin and the Chipmunks fan.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
He was in Vanilla Skies, Almost Famous. Just in a load of stuff, and I think he owns. Someone might correct me in this, obviously send it in. I think he owns Chocolate Skateboard Company, I think, or something like that.
Doing that,
but it's a really good film. It's very emotional.
Definitely worth watch. Yeah.
Oh, great!
Not what you'd expect from Kevin Smith necessarily, and that's what's good about it. Really,
that is. There's a lot of. It's ever so funny.
It's a clever romantic film, a different take on a romantic film.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. Some really good kind of topics in there that are brought up. A lot of the artwork for the comic books is done by like Mike Allred, who drew Madman at the time. I was a big fan of that. There's mention of Grendel in it, another great comic, Matt Wagner. Yeah, honestly, if you haven't seen it, and to say, I back in the day, I went to see Kevin Smith a couple of times, like with Jason Mewes talking and stuff. It's died down for me a bit because you grow up, a little bit, and you get. But yeah, it was a lovely nostalgic trip down, and if you haven't seen it, definitely check it out.
What's it on, Trev? Netflix?
That was on Amazon.
Amazon Prime, yeah, excellent.
Yeah.
My first recommendation, I thought I'd have a cheeky subscription to Apple this week, and we're going to go with Tom Hanks' new Castaway sequel. I want
to see this.
His new movie, which is called Finch, which is a post-apocalyptic future, but not too far distant future, it seems. But basically, Tom Hanks is a sort of survivor of an apocalypse because of this. Basically, it's something to do with the ozone layer, which one of the threats we're under. And he's got a dog who he loves as a companion. You can't go out in the sunshine because it burns you because it's 150 degrees. And
does this sound like this has all been done before?
It does. There's a lot of that. But what they've done is what they've done. Somebody sat down, watched Castaway, and gone, do you know what? He's good at that kind of thing. Let's get Tom Hanks to do a movie all on his own, talking to himself.
Does he grow a beard again in it?
He's already got one. Funny enough, not a huge one like you would be proud of, but he's already looking. He looks a bit old, and I won't tell you too much about the story, but he's got aged in it, and it's definitely worth what. It's not one of his best films, but Tom Hanks makes most things watchable, and the robot he designs in it and brings to life. He's a good companion. It's fun to watch. Definitely a good solid 7, which I think it is on the Instant Movie Database. A 7 out of 10. Definitely worth a watch. Big budget, nice visuals.
The effects look quite good. Yeah,
the effects are good.
Nice.
But they're understated in the sense of it isn't all about effects. It's set in a kind of Mad Maxy kind of world with a kind of Castaway vibe. It's a bit sad in places. It's good. It touches on the old emotion. So definitely worth a watch for me. And that's
Castaway
on Apple TV. Meets Mad Max.
Castaway meets Short Circuit.
Yeah, that would be a good combination of the three. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah,
brilliant. So put that one on your watch list. And what you up for
I'd like to see that. I watched The Forgotten Battle. I'm trying to think what country produced it because it's European. Let's have a look. Very good. A bit kind of 1917, very epic. Great. Subtitled in places. Effects are very good. Country of origin, Netherlands, Lithuania, and Belgium. Right. Yeah, ever so good. 3 or 4 different people. You kind of follow their story. Like a glider pilot, I believe it is. A soldier in the back of the glider. One of the resistance fighters, the woman. Yeah, ever so good. The Nazis are very evil in it.
It's World War II,
in places. Yeah, it's quite heartbreaking in places. It also follows a German infantryman as well on the other side. Yeah, it's again, it shows the very Saving Private Ryan.
Okay.
Shows a lot of the kind of graphic, not as graphic as, but bad enough. The kind of loss of life, the waste of life. Yeah, honestly, it's a long film.
If you enjoy that kind of gritty, it's gritty.
So, all over it. Yeah. I really enjoyed it, but again, excuse me. Again, you've seen it all before, and I'm getting a bit kind of tired of them. But then, what else you do? Generally,
some things are worth doing again because it's a good topic to do and a good scenery.
Yeah, very good solid 7, maybe an 8 on that.
Fantastic.
I'd go.
And what's that on, Trev?
That is on Netflix.
Okay. Yeah, brilliant. We'll put that one on your list. And my second non-recommendation, I think I'm going for this week. You started this non-recommendation stuff.
Well, you've got to cover everything, haven't you? It's not just.
I just don't want people to waste their work time. Well, saying that, it's not terrible. To be fair, it's a new Netflix film. And when I say Netflix film, I'm always holding my reservations back. Yeah, because I don't know what they're wasting their money on a lot of the time. But some of it I enjoy. But there's a film just been put on there. It's a thriller. It's called Hypnotic. And it's...
anybody famous in it? Anybody we know?
You might recognise a couple of people. I'll tell you what it reminded me of. At one time, I was sitting there watching it, and your mind drifts off. And I was thinking of like a Lifetime movie. The ones that are on during the day?
Oh, yeah,
That's what it reminded me of.
Really?
It kind of give me that vibe, that kind of strange vibe, yeah. But it's a 5.5 out of 10. It's about a woman who basically, I'll cut the story short. She goes to see a therapist who does some hypnosis on her, and he's basically installed some weird stuff that basically messes with her mind. It's a different. I've not seen that done before. It's a shame because
Office Space. Office Space that was done.
Yeah.
He was hypnotized. Then that's a brilliant film. But I think we've done that again a little while ago. But yeah, that's the same side of the plot, isn't it? But obviously the other side.
Yeah, exactly. It's not terrible. And if you haven't got anything else to watch, put it on. But it just felt very Lifetime to me, and the payoff at the end wasn't the greatest. If you're going to do a thriller, I want to feel like I'm on a ride, and kind of the ending wants to surprise me a bit like bit like before, like we say, Christopher Nolan before he went mad. So more in his Memento and Prestige days. But
strange enough, I recommended The Prestige to someone in a second-hand shop the other day,
as well as on the podcast last week. Yeah, you said get that, mate.
The guy had it in his hand. I said get that. I said it's ever so good, and he did get it. He did actually buy it.
Yeah,
so
that's cool.
Christopher Nolan owes me some money.
Yeah, Chris, if you're listening,
because he wasn't going to get it.
Get on the podcast and explain the ending of not Inception, the other one. What's the one in the library at the end in space with with Magic Mike.
Interstellar.
Interstellar. Yeah. Can you explain
exactly,
the ending of that to me? Because I still can't work it out. And then you can
He probably
follow
don't
up
know himself.
with that other one with Denzel Washington's son in it that's recent.
Tenant.
Tenant. Can you do that one as well?
Yeah.
I need some Tenants extra from you. That's what I need.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. To be honest, it'd be nice to explain both of them because I didn't get either of them.
Come on the podcast, Chris, because you've got nothing better to do, and come and explain to everyone them two movies, and I might give them another watch and give you another. I still like your movies; they look great. I love it. I've what you did with Batman and everything else.
And I like to think I'm intelligent enough to blank that I get the.
Yeah, exactly. And you still feel intelligent when you watch. Yeah, I know. I'm going to upset you.
Don't start. Yeah, it is. Don't start Michael Caine. Not me. No. I'm not in the Batman films, man.
Please, sir,
yeah. What the fucking Michael? Stop it now, Michael. Stop
overacting.
It. God dear. Man.
But that sums up our movie recommendations for the week. I hope you find something there you can watch and enjoy. Yeah. Back to our conspiracies, Trev, and we're going to run through some of the biggest conspiracies, give our little take on it, and we'll run through them quite quick so we can do a few more of them. And I'm going to give a little bit of ambience to this with this. It's good, isn't it?
It's good. Did you get your zoo to do that?
Very good. Very funny. So first big one, Trev, is the 9/11 cover-up. What do you know? What's your thoughts on the big 9/11 that the government done it themselves so they had an excuse to go to Afghanistan?
No, not at all, mate. I'm afraid that was a pure act of terror, act of horridness. That's it.
Don't
to be honest,
Osama in his bin Laden in his
bin Laden. He's bin his Laden. No rubbish, mate. That was just an absolute sheer horror. To be honest, wasn't it? What about your opinion on it?
Well, I've at different times I've liked to sort of enjoy. I enjoy sometimes going down a conspiracy rabbit hole, but I always come back to the sense at the end of the day because when you actually look at the facts, I judge everything in my life. It's a bit boring, but based on evidence, facts, science, and I look at everything, even when I'm trying to choose a TV program. I apply all them principles before I watch it.
You are fucking
it's
boring,
awful, man. When I'm buying something, when I'm doing something, I apply all these principles. It takes me so long in the end. The thing's sold or gone or whatever, but I feel better about it afterwards anyway. But basically, a May 2006 poll found that 42% of Americans believe that the government and the 9/11 Commission concealed or refused to investigate critical evidence that contradicts their official explanation. Americans love a conspiracy. I mean, we've already established, Trev, that you haven't got a tinfoil hat, have you? You don't have one. I mean, they look quite good on you, to be fair. But
I'd like to. I could rock it. I know that. I really could.
But yeah, the 9/11 conspiracy, one of the biggest conspiracies there is basically that's out there. Another interesting one that makes me kind of smile is Paul McCartney's dead. He died in 1966. Have you heard this one before, Tim?
Is that like Elvis and stuff?
It's similar, yeah. I've heard this one before.
Why is Paul? No, people have seen him walking about, haven't they? He's been at events. They've seen him live.
Paulie's dead believers think that the Beatles accompanied these backward tape loops and veiled references to death with their album covers that illustrated the loss of their friend. The original cover of the 1966's Yesterday and Today album featured the Beatles posed amid raw meat and dismembered body parts, symbolising McCartney's gruesome accident. So basically, they're putting A to C and trying to join it up. And because and they've been playing Beatles songs backwards and finding words like "Paul is gone" and things like that. That sounded like E.T. Sorry, E.T. wasn't featured on it. But I've heard this one. And I've heard this before, and they say that basically he died in 1966. I think he killed himself, but since then they put a lookalike in his place.
What?
Exactly. But if you heard some of the Wings songs, it's probably true. To be fair,
the Wings were shit, weren't they? To be honest, but
that's the lookalike. So we're thinking this one could be true.
No, it's the same as Nicky Six out of Motley Crue. They said he died and someone had taken his place.
It's a shame somebody didn't take Nicky Wire's place in the Manic Street Preachers. He still hasn't turned up, has he?
No, he hasn't. No, he hasn't. That's a shame, isn't it? Well, that's rubbish.
So,
mate.
we think that one's rubbish as well. So, here we go. We're not conspiracy theorists. So next one, Trev. Area 51 and the Aliens. That sounds like a movie title.
I like the funny thing is I'd like to believe all that because I do like a lot of that stuff, like the greys and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But why only in one area?
Well, yeah, exactly. Why is it there? But
yeah,
but what the questions that conspiracy theorists are asking is who give us such innovations as the stealth fighter and Kevlar? Aliens.
Scientists.
Well, yeah, but conspiracy theorists would say aliens.
What they've given us alien tech.
They basically give us alien tech. Yeah, this is where all our technology comes from. They basically drip feed it to us because we can't cope with it. So it's just like we have a bit of Kevlar, and that'll do you.
Do you think, man? There's bigger problems in the world. Obviously, Kevlar is a major thing because it's like, but
it's good for
do you think
motorbikes.
if aliens is that yeah? But do you think if aliens could give us anything, they'd probably cure world hunger, or wouldn't they?
Yeah, yeah. And your God could do that as well. Why doesn't he do
exactly?
But he has a bigger plan always. There's always an excuse.
Obviously,
he has a bigger plan.
Yeah, there is. He has a bigger plan.
So we think that's cobblers, basically. We like the movies. We like the kind of rhetoric surrounding it.
And I do believe something's out there, I'll admit.
Well, the closest documentary, the best documentary I've seen on aliens is the Paul, the movie.
Oh, yeah. That's a bit disappointing, that, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was disappointing, to be fair. Yeah, that's not a recommendation. It's still worth a watch.
It's watchable, but it's not. Yeah.
This is another good one, Trev. This one always makes me chuckle. The moon landings were faked. This is a big one.
Stanley Kubrick did them. Yeah. They'd spend all that budget and then no, come on. But the only thing that does back that up is they've never gone again, have they?
Because they say there's nothing really there, is there? It's just Swiss cheese.
Wasting your time, isn't it?
Yeah,
exactly. You're just wasting your time, isn't it?
It's quite ironic that the guy called Buzz Lightyear that was the second one on the moon, wasn't it?
Saying that, talking about that very quickly. Have you seen the trailer for the new Buzz Lightyear movie, The Origin Story?
No.
It does look good.
Yeah?
The origin of Buzz Lightyear.
Is Tim Allen in it, yeah?
I'm not sure. I've seen the trailer and it does look good, to be honest. Yeah, I was quite impressed by it.
Well, he's a good character.
Going back to that.
Yeah.
He is, yeah. Good films then. But yeah, no, I don't get it. Do you, man?
Well, they say the film of Aldrin planting a waving American flag on the moon. Critics say that that's not space. You can't have movement on the moon because of obviously the lack of different kinds of things we have here. I won't get into it, but there's lots of little things like that they say. But I think this has been debunked many times. I mean, there was a space race on at the time, so that's why they say they faked it, because they wanted to beat Russia. But if they must have been close, because otherwise. Yeah, Russia would have just gone there. They went there anyway, didn't they, themselves? So that's got to be rubbish. I know. Again, it makes, because it's the moon. People like to have these conspiracies. It makes them feel.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, actually,
I don't get
not on my list. I haven't wrote Trip, but one just popped in my mind. What about the Princess Diana was kind of bumped off kind of conspiracy?
Ooh, yeah, that I think there might be more into that.
You do believe that this might have been like a flash? Somebody said they saw flashes of a photographer in the face of the driver, didn't they? Like it's sort of like somebody like a strobe light or something.
It's not, to be honest, the other stuff I'm going to say, but that the science of like the moon landings and other stuff can prove that wrong. But this, I don't think she was very well liked. I don't think.
Not by the people, but by
not by the
family.
people. The people loved her, didn't they? But I mean, by the royal family, because she was a bit. I don't know. Yeah,
she's a bit of a loose cannon to them, wasn't she? They'd never had. She was divorcing Prince Charles. That had never all happened really before, had it? So,
no, this is it. I think
Maverick.
Out of all the things we've discussed, that could be one of the more likely ones.
There you go. You're going to be bumped off. I better say my goodbyes to you tonight. That's the MI5 are going to be well up you looking for you. Don't worry about Eugene Nikobolikov. It's MI5 you got to worry about.
The MI5 is always up me, mate. Always up me. But yeah, I think that one might be. There might be something in it, because that kind of government conspiracy thing, I do kind of see something in that. I must admit.
I see where you're going with that. It's a bit more believable than some of the others.
Very quickly, what about this kind of Illuminati?
I was going to be my next one, because there's two in that one. You got the secret societies control the world. So there's kind of a hierarchy. We could call them the Rothschilds, or the people that control, like the people that lend governments money. Who are they? You know, to me, they're the people that control the world. Really, the banks that lend to banks and the ones above there. Because it's the power. When they say, "Oh, we're $1.5 trillion in debt," and our debt keeps rising, I think, whose debt is this? Who actually? There's people lending that money. So. I'm not an economist, so I can't explain it. But I think the people above governments, I believe governments are there to make us feel better and make us feel like we've got some kind. This is a conspiracy in itself. I
better say that. You're fucking well about it.
No, but I'm not putting it out in a weird, strange way. I think it is an illusion as such, because to give us a sense of control in our own world, there is powerful. There is but not in the sense of reptilian elite and they turn into reptiles.
I like that.
Like David Icke says.
That was in that inside plan, whatever it was, animated. There was like the episode where there were reptiles, all the hierarchy were like losing their skin.
David Icke was talking about snooker and then said, "Oh, you turn into one of these at night or something."
Yeah. Jimmy White was a reptile, was governing like the snooker. No, honestly. Again, it's so believable that these people with all the money and
are they called Illuminati and do little triangles with their hands?
That's it, with the eye.
Do you remember when Beyonce did that when she was performing with Jay-Z? She done a triangle with her hand. I don't know why I'm actually doing this. No one can see. No, I don't, because
I can see it, but no one else
can see it. But I'm doing the triangle. But she done that, and then everyone went mad and said she's Illuminati.
Yeah, but do you think she did
That's
it
not
just
an Italian
to wind
football
people
player,
up?
by the way. But yeah.
Do you think she did it just to wind people up?
Yeah, of course.
To cause a stir?
Yeah, of course. She probably knew. They know exactly what they're doing. People talked about it.
Yeah.
Which is what's given her promotion. You know, it's the same reason Michael Jackson wore like plasters on his fingers. The same. Get people talking. Why? What's her name? Lady MacGyver. What's that one who's in that film?
Lady MacGyver.
What's her name?
The super sky that puts vans together.
Lady Gaga. That's it.
Yeah, that's Lady Gaga.
She was dressed like a weirdo, and because she want people to remember you. Act as weird as you like, and people will talk about you, and you'll be remembered. Now she acts normal, doesn't she? Now she goes around like herself.
Because she's a good actress, isn't she?
She's very good, so she's a good artist all round.
Good actress,
she needed to do that, a bit like Madonna used to tart herself about in the 80s to get herself noticed, you know? Not that I'm complaining, to be honest. Not then, now, to be fair. Although I can't be fussy anymore. I'm not fussy.
She's not being fun. Not being funny. She needs to wind it in a bit, doesn't she, Madonna?
Totally,
Not being funny. How old is she now?
63 or something, 64.
Yeah, got all her nun hanging out.
Yeah.
Come on,
It's not hanging its bag. No, let's not go there. But, I think you've summed up the biggest conspiracy there, Trev, with the reptilian elite and all that.
Yeah,
I think that sums up that. So have we? I think we'll have time for a little Dick of the Week, Trev. Shall we?
Yeah,
let's go for it. And this week's Dick is Richard Dreyfuss, born 1947, and he's still going strong, thankfully. Well done, Richard. He hasn't drunk himself into oblivion, has he?
No. He out of the actors we've done, he's the odd man out, really, the black sheep Dick.
Well, he's
so far.
Yeah, he is. I mean, a lot of memories with him though, because I'd say I knew probably Richard Dreyfuss, not personally, but I knew him first before anyone else because of Jaws and Close Encounters. Wouldn't you say from our childhood?
But you in both of them.
You're more of a fan of Stakeout, I think, and that's not like you going to Bernie Inn, is it? Like,
no. Well, what's the posh one that they won't let me into? Miller and Carter.
Oh yeah, Miller and Carter. I can see that. I thought you meant the posh movie of Richard Dreyfuss. I was going to say, is that Mr. Holland's Opus or something? Or what about
Dreyfuss
Bob?
He's a bit of a curly-haired Dick, isn't he?
Yeah, he's a curly-haired Dick. But say Jaws is classic. I'm glad he's still. But the real classic he's done, and I don't think he's uncredited, is the Piranha 3D with Kelly Brook, where he dies. Is that a bit of a homage to Jaws, where he dies right at the start, doesn't he? I could talk about Dick all day long. I'm down with it.
Dickie Dreyfuss,
he was a conscientious objector during the Vietnam War and performed his alternative service at Los Angeles County Hospital. What a wuss! What a wuss you are!
Wussy Dick.
I saw Charlie Sheen do it in Platoon, and he done it well.
And he did Navy SEALs.
And he did, he did that. And John Bon Jovi did the other one.
U571.
Yeah, and he
got
blew
his head blown off.
Yeah, and that was the happiest moment of your life. But sorry, back to
it was great. Yeah.
Began his acting career in the 1960s sitcoms like Bewitched. Did you know that?
Yeah.
You're a big fan?
I was aware of that. Yeah, I was aware of that.
Did you know in 1978, he was 30 years old. He won an Oscar for, do you know what movie that was? And he was the youngest person ever, The Goodbye Girl.
Always. Oh, really?
Yeah. Who do you think took over from him? In 1978, he was 30 years old and was the youngest person to win an Oscar, Best Actor Oscar.
Right.
That record held until won for a film in 2003. And funny enough, if he turned upside down and had his nose out the water, you'd think he was a shark. It was for The Pianist.
Wow.
Adrian Brody.
Yeah.
He took the record.
Yes.
Yeah, 29 years old he was in 2003.
It is a good film.
Yeah, it is a good film. It is a good film.
Yeah.
So Richard Dreyfuss, as much as I don't like his conscientious, I can't even say it, but objections to the Vietnam War.
Offended by it.
Yeah, exactly. Because I'm an American activist. But he's just, it puts me off him a little bit. But his films, the movies, I've enjoyed all through, the time. Yeah. Even Stakeout, I enjoyed, to be fair.
For when it came out.
Yeah.
Was he a short dick? He always reminded me he was going to be a short dick.
Yeah, exactly. I think a lot of people like Short Dick, to be fair, because, they play that kind of comedy role. He's got that kind of Buster Keaton thing about him, isn't he, going on?
Yeah. I've actually, now you said that, I was thinking of a similar character, Gene Wilder, a bit funnier, but that's one dick we must do. Gene Wilder's mate. I won't say it now. We must do that one.
Oh, no, yeah, of course, yeah.
Huge. Don't mention his name. We're saving for another episode.
No, he'll be huge Dick of the Month, he will be. Yeah.
He'd be Dick of the Year, that fella.
Dynamite Chicken. That'll give you a clue.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
Have some of that.
Oh, yeah.
But, yeah. Richard Dreyfuss,
we wasted.
Thanking you for the memories. And if you want to come on, because you're still alive, come on. Come on to the podcast.
To be honest, wouldn't surprise you if he did come on, because the latest movies he's made are atrocious.
I can't remember any of the recent ones.
Watch one with him and Chevy Chase in the other week, where they're in like an old people's home and they go on a journey. And I love Chevy Chase. Lousy, absolutely lousy.
Oh dear! Well, thanks for the film review again, Trevor. So we'll move that into the right segment, and that concludes this week's Dick of the Week. Apps, Trev. We done Richard Dreyfuss and Close Encounters of the Third Kind with the alien conspiracy. Yeah, so there you go. Everything you ever wanted to know about Richard Dreyfuss.
Exactly that.
Apart from his inside leg, you wanted to know, didn't you? But I didn't.
And the Mash Mountain. Mountain. I like that bit.
Yeah,
cool. Good film there. Good film.
It is a very good film because it's psychological. It doesn't rely on cheap tricks or anything else. It's all about a build-up to something happening. And it's not about the aliens. It's not an alien film, is it? It's a film about a man who's in a place where he's been...
Do you think that's why Spielberg made E.T.? Because Close Encounter was a little bit too scary?
Yes.
So he thought better tone this down a bit. Like there's another good film.
Didn't do bad with it, did he?
Not really, no. Now, very quickly, just to see the show out, one word from you, flat earthers. Not flat earther, not flat earther kids. no one likes them.
You definitely don't. Well, I don't like them. No one's going to say they like them. But we got no problem with them. I haven't got a problem with them. So if I don't want to go down this road, I'm going to end up digging a hole here. But yeah, no, they're fine. But yeah, flat Earth, ridiculous. We've proved that. We've already spoke about the moon and everything. We know that the world, the planet is round. We know that. Well, not. I don't know if it's perfectly round. I don't really know. But we know that the flat Earth. I mean, we know it's not flat. I mean, I've been to places where there's hills. That's not flat.
So that's not flat.
That's not flat. I don't know what they're trying to say. They're going to come up there. I mean, but I can understand why people from time gone by would think it's flat.
Yeah, because they hadn't travelled and get that.
That's why I always say, all jokes to one side, if you want a true perspective of the world, travel. Because it will give you such a greater perspective on everything in your life and people and everything. It's easy to sit in your little corner of the world and go, they're just doing this. Then people there are like that. Then people there do this. Then people do it. When you actually go there and get a perspective about it, it can change your whole opinion about who you are in the world and where these people are in the world and how you...
More knowledge, more interactive. Exactly. Go with that.
Best thing you can do is travel. Best thing.
Yeah. Don't get me wrong, I'm not travelled amazingly. done a bit.
Well, we could all do more. We don't come from backgrounds that are illustrious in travel, were we? But
no,
we
true.
do as much as we can, and obviously at the moment it's difficult anyway.
I like my home comforts too much. Difficult.
Yeah, me too. I always like to get home, but I have enjoyed travelling, and it's not always the most obvious places. I enjoy my holidays in Ibiza and sitting around with 5-star luxury, but I also enjoyed going to Russia and where it was dusty everywhere and everything, just looking around going, this is real, this is real life.
Yeah.
And experiencing the absolute polar opposite of America, the absolute polar opposite, which is why they don't like each other. So, you've got culture against a new country, a new baby country, really. And, and they don't, they clash.
Yeah. Get out there and do it.
Yeah, get out there and do it. Like we're doing a Nike advert now. Let's hope we can get a sponsorship from Nike for that one.
I've had one with Under Armour, I think.
So we've established that basically Trev's not a conspiracy theorist. I'm not really a conspiracy apart from my little Illuminati thing going on there, but not truly a conspiracy theorist. They're fun. There's nothing wrong with conspiracy theory. Go and watch the Mel Gibson film if you want to watch an entertaining 1997 movie about it. I should have put that in stream of the week.
Conspiracy theory. Yeah,
conspiracy theory. We watch Mel Gibson acting very conspired, I think is the word.
Conspired. Mel the Conspirer.
He's good. I like Mel Gibson. I've got a lot of time for him. So I can watch all of his films. So there's another recommendation, a free bonus recommendation for that.
Yeah, exactly. Look at that.
So we hope you enjoyed our conspiracy special.
Yeah.
Trevor, you
enjoyed
you're
still here next week. Yeah.
I hope there's no conspiracy as why no one's listening next week. But
exactly. Yeah.
We look forward to having you back again.
What is the conspiracy that we haven't got more listeners?
Exactly.
Let us know that.
Yeah. If you've got anything to say to us, conspiratorial or not, please go to amlopodcast.com and get the little blue button or leave us a message, leave us a review if you don't mind. I think most of you have now, to be fair. We've got quite a few. But thank you all the same. Thanks for listening. Trev, it's been a pleasure as always. And
I'm going to do my lizard tongue now.
Oh, yes, please. Oh, I can feel that. Oh, no, not that one. Thanks very much. We'll see you on the next one.
Thanks for listening. If you enjoyed this episode and you'd like to help support the podcast, please leave a rating and review and visit our website at www.amlopodcast.com to check out all the links and resources in the show notes. Start living them good times. See you next time.